Our guest this evening is a talent on this network, Attorney Rolex Suplico. Some of you know him as a former congressman from Iloilo, where he also served as vice governor. During his tenure in the House of Representatives, he was the deputy minority leader from 1998 to 2007. Nowadays, he devotes his time to law practice and a few business interests. He's a named partner in Suplico and Austria Law Offices, president of Great Odysseus Security Agency Incorporated, president of Great Jupiter Mercantile Incorporated, president of R2S Manpower Services Corporation, director of Asia Pacific Medical Center, and director of Pet Plans Tower. He also has a radio program on DZAR, which is affiliated with this network. But like the television operations, the radio station has been off-air since December 2023. As you know, the National Telecommunications Commission suspended the network without a hearing or any opportunity from its representatives to address the allegations against it. Attorney Suplico has been at the forefront of getting SMNI back on air, along with the recent guests on this program. Tonight, we hope to get an update on the network's seemingly uphill legal and political battle. A number of petitions have been filed, but to date, there's been no decision yet. We'll ask Attorney Suplico, where does SMNI go from here? And are there any ramifications that every Filipino should be concerned about? It's a pleasure to share the stage with you again. You know, I remember when we were at the presidential debates. Welcome to Business and Politics.
Thank you, Klink. I remember those days.
It seems like those days are far, far from where we are today. But siguro before we get into the discussions, maybe we should get an update from you. And you have been, as I said in the introduction, at the forefront of the legal battle, helping SMNI get back on air. There have been many developments, but maybe we should hear it from you. What's the latest?
Well, the latest order by NTC is that the network has been suspended indefinitely.
Right.
Okay, that means what the congressman failed to do,
okay,
NTC was able to do.
Now, as I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, you're a telecoms expert,
yes, that's
right?
correct.
That's your legal area of expertise.
Oh, Klink, I started with pagers or beepers.
Okay, so just can you help us put it into context how unusual this is, because it doesn't seem usual. And then what are the larger implications here? Is this precedented or unprecedented situation for SMNI?
Well, Klink, the investigation in the lower house is inquiry in aid of legislation.
Right.
It's not a criminal proceeding.
Right.
Okay. On the other hand, NTC is a quasi-judicial body.
Okay.
So, administratively, it's under the office of the president.
Okay.
Okay. But it exercises quasi-judicial powers, which are only appealable to the Court of Appeals.
Okay.
So as if the NTC itself a tribunal.
Okay.
Now, Congresswoman Nograles filed a resolution which was approved by the House and referred to the NTC. Okay. Because of that, then we have the case in the NTC.
Right.
The first order was a suspension for 30 days.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But
that was supposed to end in January something, right?
January 20 or 21. But NTC alleged that on December 27, we operated, and SMNI operated briefly for 1 day.
Yeah.
It's a station in Rojas City, which our technician over there denies.
Okay.
Because of that, we are now faced with a indefinite suspension order. So we have filed a motion for reconsideration. Then we're waiting for the resolution of that motion. Okay. But at any rate, I think we will end up in the Supreme Court.
On the Supreme Court?
Yes. Okay. We will go first to the Court of Appeals, then to the Supreme Court.
Okay. Now, just explain to us, because how unusual this case is, because we were talking before the program. Now, so there is the House hearing, which is, as you said, was supposed to be in aid of legislation. And was there a referral from the House? There was a resolution, right? Given to NTC. But you were showing me earlier that NTC acted in several capacities, including plaintiff and then also juror, and now the executioner of his decision. Can you maybe give us some explanations on that?
The referral was based on a resolution of the House alleging certain violations of the congressional franchise of SMNI. Okay. That's Republic Act 11422. Okay. But when NTC got it, it sent us a 30-day show cause order. Okay. A show cause order with a 30-day preventive suspension. Okay. Here's a copy of the order. Okay. Okay. Right. So as you can see on the heading, you have the name of the tribunal.
Okay.
And what is that? NTC.
Right.
Here, you can see the parties. The complainant is NTC.
Yeah.
So can you imagine that the complainant itself is NTC in the court presided by NTC? I don't know if we can expect justice there.
Okay.
This is a 30-day suspension order.
Okay.
That means there is already a penalty.
Okay.
And who implemented that penalty? NTC itself.
NTC.
So the tribunal is NTC, complainant is NTC, the executioner of the orders is the NTC.
Can we take a step back for a minute? Because what should have been the process? I mean, as I said, you're the telecoms expert, right? What would have been the proper or correct procedure in this particular case? Because, I mentioned earlier that there was never an opportunity for SMNI to defend itself or answer the allegations against it. Is that normal, or how should it have been approached?
Well, the NTC should have authorized the regional directors or the Bureau of Broadcast Services to conduct an investigation. Then it should have called SMNI, asked them what happened, to answer.
Explain, right?
And then they should have arrived at a conclusion and thereafter filed the case in the name of the regional director or the Bureau of Broadcast Services. But it did not do that.
Now, in your experience, is this unusual, or is this typical? Have you heard of a similar case like this, or I'm just trying to wrap my head around.
I have practiced before the NTC,
as you said,
since 1991.
Since there were pagers,
there were pagers, and nobody remembers the pagers now.
Yeah,
this is the first time I've seen a case like this.
So,
and this is the first time I've seen NTC surrender its quasi-judicial powers to Congress. Or to the House of Representatives in particular.
Yeah. So, the congressional hearings have also evolved, right? I think at the last hearing, there were now discussions or a resolution filed now for the revocation of the franchise.
Well, a House bill.
A House bill. Okay. So explain to us, maybe give your legal take on that, because the previous guests on this program, Attorney Tolentino and Mr. J. Sonsa and even former Secretary Jairoque were, of course, had their views on that. But from a legal perspective, what's your take on it? Because they're obviously, from a political perspective, they were underscoring how unusual it is, because there's an existing franchise. It's not up for renewal, right? So maybe take it away from there.
Well, this is the first time that the House, someone filed a bill in the House revoking a franchise. Now, I need to distinguish that from the ABS-CBN case. Because everybody knows the ABS-CBN
It's good that you brought that, because that's been being mentioned also.
In the ABS-CBN case, they had a pending renewal of their franchise.
So there was a reason to discuss the franchise.
Yes. Then expiry day arrived without the franchise having been renewed.
Right.
So they have to file a new one. So when they filed a new one, that's when the hearings were conducted. No. So the history will tell us, Congress or the lower house or the Committee on Legislative Franchises in particular denied the grant of a new franchise. In this case, the franchise of SMNI was granted in 2019, August 22 to be exact. So it's a 5-year-old franchise. Then they say there are violations. No, but if you analyze the violations, I don't think that will merit the revocation of a franchise. So, in fact, this is the first time that a franchise has been recommended for revocation.
The first time?
The first time.
Wow.
Since 1991, as far as I know. In fact, KBP testified that this is the first time.
Wow. So, again, as an expert first of telecoms law, what are the grounds for revoking the franchise, and what is the procedure? Just so we get a perspective of how unusual this process is.
Well, I have to admit, Congress cannot pass irrepealable laws. So laws are subject to repeal, amendment, revocation, or modification.
Okay.
So that's the principle. Congress cannot pass irrepealable laws. But then, Congress is a bicameral Congress.
Okay.
We have the lower house and we have the Senate.
Okay.
So the lower house cannot do it alone.
Okay.
It takes two to tango.
I see.
Now, here, the allegations are these, no?
Okay.
First, there was a transfer of the controlling interest.
Yes.
That's that's the allegation.
Yeah.
That would have merited
From Pastor Kibuloy to the current head of the kingdom.
Pastor Kibuloy owned only 1.5%
Okay.
of the stock holdings
Right.
of SMNI as of 2020.
Right.
Now, he transferred that to a workers' cooperative.
Right.
Okay. Now, the main argument is this. There is this 96% stock holdings owned by Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
Right.
The name above every name.
Right.
Now, it transferred 46% to Phoebos Capital Inc.
Okay.
They're saying you need congressional approval for that.
Okay.
However, what is controlling interest?
Yeah.
In business, we know that controlling interest is 50% plus.
Okay.
A transfer of 46% is not a transfer of controlling interest. It's short.
Okay.
It's short of 6% or 6% plus.
Okay.
Because it's 50% plus
Okay.
to control a corporation. So we're saying, no, there's no need to go to Congress and secure congressional approval.
But, I seem to understand, at least maybe for some listed companies, if you buy at least 30%, there is already a mandate to, for some companies, that's enough for controlling, right? And you should give the other shareholders an opportunity to maybe take advantage of any
Oh, that's
offer.
the right of first refusal.
Okay.
Okay, here, it's not present.
Okay.
The right of first refusal is present too within and among stockholders.
Okay.
But to say we need congressional approval for a transfer like that, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay. You need only to inform Congress if there is a transfer of the controlling interest. Here, there's no need because controlling interest is 50% plus.
Okay.
The second one is responsibility to the public. Two
Okay.
programs. Gikan sa masa, para sa masa, and laban kasama ng bayan.
Okay.
In the first, no, it involved, the guest was former President Rodrigo Duterte.
Okay.
Okay. Allegedly, President Duterte threatened Congresswoman Franz Castro.
Right.
For which a criminal case was filed.
But it's been dismissed already.
Dismissed. So the court, the Quezon City Prosecutor's Office said there was no sufficient basis to hold former President Duterte liable for grave threats. Okay, number two, laban kasama ng bayan. It was a question posed by Ka Eric Celis.
Okay.
He was asking about the 1.8 billion
Travel expense.
alleged travel expenses of the speaker.
Yeah.
But these are public funds, open to public scrutiny.
Right.
And he apologized for that.
Yeah.
So may I emphasize the buzzwords, willful and deliberate, that's
Okay.
contained in the franchise of SMNI, Republic Act 11422. I don't think that's willful. I don't think that's deliberate. At any rate, we all have our mistakes. We're all humans. If someone passed to you a false tip and you air it, no, you can apologize afterwards. But if that broadcast of a false tip merited a closure of a network, my God, the air will be clear of radio and TV stations.